What's up, to be Frank fam? It's your boy Corey J. I'm here live for another episode of To Be Frank. Frankly speaking, it had to be said. We really are excited to have today's guest. He's a very familiar face. He's doing extremely great things. He's constantly rising to the top. I won't give any more introduction. I'll go ahead and bring him on in. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Hubert Tate. What's up, Mr. Tate? Hire Hubert. Hashtag hire Hubert.
As I like to say to my clients, it's a movement that's sweeping the country.
Come on.
But yeah, I'm happy to be here and excited to be here with you today.
That's what's up. That's what's up. On behalf of the To Be Frank fam, we definitely appreciate you taking time for us and being featured on today's segment. So first things first, y'all, we're gonna do a quick introduction. So how can they know more about Mr. Tate? So Hubert, go ahead and give us the honors and give us a little background on you.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi. Went to college there at Jackson State, graduated and went to grad school at Johns Hopkins. I have a master's degree from there. And so my background is in journalism and communications. And that's what I was doing after graduation for the first 10 years of my career after graduation. And so worked in that. I was a news reporter and anchor for 10 years. Worked in Lafayette, Louisiana, worked in Mobile, Alabama, Little Rock, Arkansas, and then I went up to DC and worked for the Human Rights Campaign as a press secretary and spokesperson. Then relocated to Atlanta. That's where I am now. Worked at a nonprofit here, and then did a little soul searching back in 13 about where life was taking me at the time. And from there, I ended up in real estate in 2017, and that's where I've been ever since. And so it's been quite the journey. Been in real estate now for about 6 years. Love it. I probably should have been here to begin with after college, but as you know, life is a journey,
Yeah,
and
it is.
you just follow it. You just follow it, and so that's where I am now.
Awesome. Well, y'all heard it first. This man wears many hats and he's constantly navigating, which gives us the title for this segment, Through the Rooftop. So why we chose this title is because Hubert is breaking grounds, literally, with success, victory, sales, and just life in general. He is truly a role model for men in the entrepreneur industry, and we just had to sit him down. So, little background, I met Hubert back when he was a reporter here in Lafayette, and this brother is A1. That's all I can say. This brother is A1. So to see his journey into now real estate, without a doubt, I know that he's going to be victorious with whatever he puts his hands to. So first things first, the first question that I want to ask you is, what drives your success?
The bills that need to get paid. To be completely honest with you, but no, really, I think when I went through that soul searching process of where God was taking me at the time, I did this whole experience where I prayed earnestly to God about my next steps. And I made a promise to God and myself that wherever I ended up, and wherever He led me, I will be happy with it. And so God could have told me to become a firefighter or become a school
Gotcha.
teacher or run for office. I don't know.
Yeah,
Wherever He was leading me, I was going to go. And so
yeah,
I think that once I went through that process, discovered real estate, discovered that I'm really good at real estate and good at sales,
yeah,
that really fuels me. And so now I don't have a problem get up in the morning to go to work. Does the job get stressful? Sure, it does, but I
yeah.
love it. I really, really love it. And so I think that is what keeps me grounded and keeps me motivated to do even better. And I think also what has happened over the years is that, of course, everybody wants to make money. Let's
Right,
be honest. Everybody wants
right,
to do
right.
that.
Yeah,
And I think it is something quite magical when you're able to make money at something that you love. And
gotcha.
I found it. I
That's the
have found
difference. That's
it.
a
It's a
key
difference.
difference.
I mean, because
You
of course, I
definitely
mean, you can make money doing anything, but do you like what
right.
you're doing? That's what's important.
Yeah.
And God has truly blessed me that I found a career, a role where I'm able to make a good living. Well, also, I enjoy my work, and so I think what I went through in that soul searching process really helped. And the life that I live is far beyond the life that I had envisioned for myself way back when 20 years ago. And I think that has truly helped me get up in the morning and help folks find houses.
Hey, that's what a fuel is. I see it. I see it. We can hear the passion all in your voice. That's letting us know how much you love what you do. And that's a key thing, y'all. Those that are watching is very key. When it comes down to selecting a career, choose something that you love. A lot of folks tend to go for salary, first, income first, and they don't love what they do and they gripe and they complain. And it's like, okay, how are you motivating yourself if you're constantly bringing yourself down? So let's go to our next question. How was that transition from going into the news field to journalism to now real estate?
Yeah. So it was a bit different because and the reason why, and I'll just share this. When I
Go
went
ahead.
through my soul searching journey,
Yeah.
um, it was multi-layered. So I was in therapy. I started
Wow.
talking to my priest weekly. I was journaling. I was fasting because I was like, I got to do something different, man. I got to do something different. I like journalism. I like reporting.
Right.
At the same time, I knew that something was off, and so I took it very serious, that soul searching process. And I think the hardest thing about it is that um, when I graduated college, I went to school for journalism and communications.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 4 years in college for that. Then
Okay.
I went to grad school, and then I worked on air for a good part of my career. And so collectively, I spent 10 years chasing after this dream. And
Gotcha.
so I spent time, money, resources, efforts to
Right.
chase this. And it was very hard to let go of what I had, essentially built. So worked so hard to build. And that was hard. That was very, very hard. And essentially, getting into real estate and starting, as an entrepreneur, you're starting all the way back over again. And so
Yeah.
here I am. I was 31 years old at the time,
Yeah.
starting all the way back over. I felt like a college freshman all over again, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is not it." Well,
Pure agony. Pure
I,
agony.
I was, I would say it wasn't it. It was just frustrating, but I
Gotcha.
knew that this is where God was leading me. And so there's a book that I read by Brene Brown, um,
Okay.
and it's called "The Gifts of Imperfection." And
Okay.
in that book, she posits that what could happen if you let go of who you think you are
Oh wow.
and embrace who you really are. And so in
That's
my
really
head,
good.
I had branded in my brain that, I'm this news reporter anchor, and I was at the time. But
Right.
that's not where the direction God was leading me. And once I broke through that challenge, everything else was smooth sailing. That, God was reinventing me. He really was.
Wow.
And I'm thankful for it. And but I had to take that leap, and taking that leap was hard. It was very, very hard. Going from getting a salary, every
Yeah.
year to
Yeah.
entrepreneurship where I don't get any kind of
Whole
base.
different ball game. Whole different ball game.
I mean, and like I said, these bills have to get paid. I'm going to be honest with you. When I first
Yeah.
started in real estate,
Yeah.
um, because I knew I wanted to do it full time, I cashed out my 401k. I
All
paid
right.
up all my debts, and I
Come on.
minimized my expenses every month. And so
Okay.
at the time, I was living like around about probably like $5,000 a month to live,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that included a whole lot of entertainment, some other stuff that really didn't make any sense. But
Yeah.
I got that down to $3,000 a month. So that included like my housing, food, like only the essentials, only. And
Gotcha.
so that came out to about $3,000 a month. And what I did was I paid off everything that was outstanding, cashed out of my 401k, and that left me with literally about $10,000
Wow.
to my name. And so
Wow.
I was like, all right, God,
What's going on here?
I got
Help a
3
brother
months.
out. Help a brother
I
out.
got I got 3 months to make something happen. And what happened, I got into real estate,
Yeah.
and my first deal I ever put together, worked on it for about 30 days, 45 days. And the day before closing, it fell apart. It
Wow.
fell apart.
Oh my
And so
goodness.
I was devastated. I was like, oh
Right.
my.
I can imagine.
And now, again, I live off $3,000 a month. So now I have less money. I have about 7,000 to my name and no deal. No deal.
Oh
No
man.
check at all.
Yeah.
Um, but I was like, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna trust God. This is a lesson on trusting God. This is a
Right.
faith walk.
This is
Um,
good. This is
and
good.
so I had another deal that closed 3 weeks later, and it closed with no problem. And the way God worked out that commission that I earned on that deal, that covered another 2 months of my
Okay.
living. And so now it's like, all right, I have a few more months to kind of breathe. Instead of having 3 months of like reserves, I have 4 months now.
Yeah.
And that was enough to keep me going. And then
Gotcha.
from there, I just kept building, to a point where, instead of having 3 to 4 months of living expenses, I have well above that now, well
Come
above.
on.
Um,
That's amazing.
but it took faith. I mean, that first year, it was tough. I mean, like I didn't like friends would ask me to go out to eat. I was like, I have no money, so I'm gonna go home and cook.
And
Um,
friends don't
good
listen to
time.
that. They don't
I mean,
listen.
and like, but that's what you have to do. You have to make those
Right. It's
sacrifices.
discipline. Yeah, it's
And I
discipline.
did, and literally, my first 2 years in the business, I literally worked every day.
Wow.
It may not have been 8 hours a day, but
You
every
was
day I was
working.
doing
You was
something
working. Yeah.
pertaining to real estate. And thankfully, as time went by, my first year in the business, I was rookie of the year for my office.
Yeah.
Uh, I've been ranked in the top 5% by the Atlanta Realtor Association
Come
for
on.
5 years in a row now. And so, but it took effort, it took consistency, it took time to build that. And now I'm at the point in my career, and I'm very thankful that I don't work every day like I used to. Is not as hard, but I do have a team of folks who work with me to get the deals done, and I'm very thankful for that. And so. It's a stair step process. It's been scary. I mean, even today, I just got the phone before this conversation about one of
Yeah.
my deals that's in jeopardy, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Here we go.
But
Here we go, huh?
here we go. But I've been
Here
here
we go.
before. I've been here before, and God works out. I don't know how it's going to work out, but it's going to work out.
Yeah. Trust
And
them.
and if it doesn't work out, okay, that means that it wasn't God's will. But yet
Right.
I'm still taken care of. My bills are still getting paid, and this is the most important thing. My tithes still get paid every month.
Come on now. Come on.
And so I can definitely say, like, I mean, I'm not saying that I tithe to get more, but
Yeah.
those first initial tithe payments,
First
the
fruits. I
10%,
got it. Yeah.
it was scary because I was like, oh, this is a lot of money. I mean, I could put this on a light bill. But at the same time, I gave in faith. And literally, like every time I give, it comes back with a new client. Like I'd even like from out of nowhere. And so I do think there's a correlation between my faith in myself and God, my tithing, my
Yeah.
effort. It all works together. And so I think that has helped really fuel my career. And I'm very thankful for it.
That's amazing. That's definitely a testimony. And I know you're inspiring a bunch of folks that are watching. Like, look, this brother doing all of this on faith. I could do it too.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
leads me to my next question. When it comes to the saying faith over fear, how does that apply to Hubert Tate?
I mean, that's a constant battle. I mean, like it doesn't go like the fear doesn't go away. You just get used to managing it. So like
Okay.
now, I mean, I'm afraid for this deal that's not going to close.
Yeah.
But my faith is like, okay, you have done everything that you can do for this deal. You've
Right.
done it. And so whatever happens from here, that's up to God. There's a quote that I love, and it goes, "You control the effort, you do not control the outcome."
Okay.
And
That's
so as
good.
long as I put in the effort and do everything that I can to see that a deal goes through or do right by my
Mhm.
clients, then the outcome, that's up to the universe, that's up to God. And so when it comes to managing that stress, that fear, I have learned to say to myself, I've done everything that I can. It's out of my hands. It's
Absolutely.
above me.
It's in his hands. Not
It's above me.
I got it. It's in his hands. So So, with all that being said, Hubert, I want to address. So, a lot of times when men, and we're just going to talk about men, we ain't going to focus on women right now, just men in general, we tend to fight with our identity when it comes down to a career change. So, it's like, once at a time as a kid, you was like, oh, I want to be this. Then you graduate out of high school, I want to be this. Then you graduate from college, all right, I'm settled, I'm doing this. But then it ended up, you graduated from one particular thing and you like, okay, wait a minute, this is not it. And then you stuck. And then you get into this identity crisis and you're not knowing what next to do. Listening to your story, you let us know how much faith and meditation, came into fruition to manifest what you have currently. Tell us, what advice do you have just for men, mainly men and women? If you want to take in the advice, by all means do it. But I'm just focusing on the men right now because I know how hard it can be when you're accustomed to winning in a certain state and then all of a sudden everything turns upside down, gets all scrambled up, and you like, now what?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I can definitely say to everyone out there, get
Yeah,
out of your own way.
that's
Get out
good.
of your own way. And I think that for me, I was on TV. And
Yeah,
so that identity, like, oh, he's a TV guy. Well, people know him from TV. Like all that goes into my mind.
right.
Um, and, local celebrity kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And then so going from that to selling houses where don't nobody know me besides my clients.
right.
So there was a little bit of a reality check for myself. And then I had to go back and say, Hubert, this is not about you. This is
Come on.
not about you at all. This is about your peace, your happiness, your intent to know that you are doing right by yourself and you love yourself.
Mhm.
Um, and how your career goes into who you are as a human being. And I
Gotcha.
think that when I ask myself, you know, do I do would I have imagined myself here like 20 years ago? No,
Yeah,
not at all. Um, but I think that my faith has really brought me here and helped me
yeah.
to deal with the identity crisis. And I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I've been in therapy since 2015. Therapy it helps. Well, it hurts and it helps because
It's
literally,
necessary. Yeah.
oh yeah, like I tell all my male friends this. I mean, therapy.
Mm,
Do not be afraid of that. And when I was in therapy, that really helped me to get into the entrepreneurship thing and
gotcha.
to actually deal with that identity crisis because there's a reason why you have an identity crisis. So you start peeling back the layers of trauma
Mm,
in your life.
come on.
Um, and I remember my therapist. We actually went to kindergarten when somebody stole my crayon. I was mad about that, and she's like, "What was you mad about that?" And it just stuck with me. And
Yeah.
so
Trauma.
and
Trauma.
it's a
That you
problem.
didn't
And so
know
you have to
about.
deal with that and
Yeah.
to be okay with that. And I think that therapy, especially when dealing with the identity piece of it, that really helped me. That really, really helped me over the long term. And I'm thankful for it.
That's wonderful. So let's address moving. A lot of folks feel that when it comes down to making a big move, it can be really, really challenging. To live in an area such as Atlanta where there's so many realtors, left and right, how does Hubert keep his sanity?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great question because there are 10,000 realtors in Atlanta.
Oh my
There
goodness.
there are
Oh my goodness.
95,000 realtors in the state of Georgia.
Oh
And
my
so,
goodness.
there's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
But I say to myself, I rise above everybody else.
Yeah.
Um, and that faith, I mean, I don't care what everybody else is doing. I
Right.
really don't. I care about what I'm doing. When you think about it, I mean, to be honest with you, I think there were maybe like 5,000 houses sold in the first quarter of this year. In order to reach my personal goals, I only need to sell like 30 of those.
Okay.
So, do you think I care about the other houses that are being sold? No, I don't. I
No,
don't.
you gotta focus.
Big Bird can sell those houses. I don't care. As long as I get what's mine
Yeah,
and what's due to me by God,
you gotta
I'm good.
focus.
And so everything else, I mean, no, I don't care. Like, great, great.
You gotta focus. So
You,
let's
you
talk. You're right. You're right. You gotta if you're not
Yep.
focusing, you're gonna be paying attention to what you don't need to be paying attention to. And
Yep.
people tend to do that, no matter what field it is. It's like it's always, oh, this is my competition, and I want to be. Just be you. Once you authentic with yourself, everything falls into place. You don't have to worry about anything after that. You have your faith. You being yourself. You following the identity that God created you to be, and that's all what matters.
And I
That's
will add
all.
this too. I believe in abundance
Come on.
and bountiful abundance, and there's
Yeah.
enough for us all. There's
Yeah.
enough houses for all of us to sell, as long as your intent is pure and of sound mind.
Come
Now,
on.
if you
That's
got some
it.
ill motives, then
Oh,
yeah,
I know. I could
you have some
imagine. I could
problems.
imagine.
But I mean, if you and I believe that there's enough for us, all of us to sell. I mean, there are a lot of good realtors here. Let me just say that there are a lot of good realtors out here, and there's enough for us all at the top. There's enough.
Gotcha. Well, we commend you on being the realtor that you are, because you are doing your thing. And we got to know, how did the hashtag Hire Hubert movement come into effect? Because it is trending, baby. It's trending. So we want to
Uh,
know, how can we be a part of this hashtag Hire Hubert movement? Tell us about this journey, how this came about.
yeah, and so like again, this goes to how things just fall in place when you're doing the door spill. But because so I had one idea about my branding strategy when I first
Okay.
started. I was like, oh, I can do this, do that. Um, and it just, I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't great. And
Yeah.
so what happened, I have a good friend of mine. She lives in Alabama, and she works in marketing. And she saw what I was doing on social media with, buying and selling houses, all that good stuff. And so
Hmm.
she sent me a text and saying, "Hey, Hubert, I see you. So proud of you. Keep up the great work. Hashtag hire Hubert." And when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my God, I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it." And
Yeah.
so I said, let me just try this as a branding strategy. And so I started using it probably late 2017, 2018,
Yeah.
and it has truly, taken a life of its own. And so, like, my clients really, they don't even know my full name, Hubert Tate. They say, "Oh, let's go hire Hubert," and like,
That's
hey, it,
great.
it works. It was
Yeah.
an accident, and I took a risk, and the rest is history. And so, yeah, hire Hubert is the thing, as you can see right there.
Yeah. I see it. I see it everywhere. I see it under your name. I see it
Great
all the time. It's
trademark painting, by the way.
Come on, you see, that's what it's all about. That's what it's
Yeah,
all about. So,
yeah.
Hubert, let's talk about flaws. What do you feel is the biggest flaw that you have right now that you are trying to overcome?
Yeah, personally or professionally, like that's a
Either or, I'll let you pick on that one.
I'm a perfectionist, and I want
Okay,
perfection, and I want excellence. And
okay,
my team members who I work with, they know that I expect a certain caliber of excellence in all of my deals. And
gotcha.
so when I fall short, or when someone on my team falls short, or something doesn't go the way I want, I want to blow up the whole place. I just, I want to punch everybody in the face. Everybody can get it. Let's go. And so I've had to learn over the years that everything will not be perfect.
Yeah,
Perfection is not the goal,
it's
but
excellence.
98% of perfection, that's the goal. I mean, like it's not gonna be perfect, it's not. We're not perfect people. And
Right.
so I have to have grace with myself, grace with other folks, and graceful with circumstances that I can't control. And so I'll probably say that's probably my biggest flaw. Yeah.
That is good. That is really good. Look, I went through that stage and I've overcome it finally. It's just I'm like, so I could be so meticulous at times, and I'm just like, all right, Corey, chill out. Like you doing way,
Way too
way
much.
too
Way
much.
too much.
So before we wrap up today's segment, I want to dig deep into spirituality. It's like a lot of men are afraid. Well, not a lot of men, but it's just a good portion of men are afraid to be so vocal and so bold about having a strong relationship with God. I know me personally, I have no problem. Like I'm always open to letting folks know how important a relationship is, sharing testimony and whatnot. Hubert, tell us what advice you have for men or just folks in general that are watching, that know they have a strong relationship with God, though they choose to impress man publicly and God privately, because it
Yeah.
should be the other way around, but they're
Yeah.
doing it the opposite way. So tell us, how can you help someone watching maneuver of this? Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of folks that feel that they're self-made entrepreneurs, and you're not.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
really not. Like,
Yeah.
it's I find that there is it's we are Christians, and we know, just like you mentioned earlier, where our abundance comes from, and it's from him. It's not from us. You can't go around telling people, oh, I'm the one who came up with hire you, but I this, I that, I you know what time it is. So let's talk to those that's just battling, being open about
Yeah.
their Christian beliefs and Christian faith.
Yeah. That's a good question. I would definitely say I encourage people to be themselves
Hmm.
and to thyself be true.
Okay.
Whatever your truth is, that's what's really important. And I think, what really helps me with that, like in 2009, I told my parents I was gay.
Hmm.
And that was a very, very, it was a scary experience. It was filled with fear. But I also realized that, I can be gay and I can be a Christian. Those two are not separate. They are what in the same. And
Gotcha.
I think that that's what helped me truly acknowledge where my strength comes from, because that was a hard experience. It's one of the hardest experiences of my life. And
Gotcha.
so, I think that helped me even in business, that, there's nothing too hard for God.
Come on.
And God pushed me through that experience, and he still is. And I think that acknowledging who I am as a person, loving myself first, and then love everybody else, that truly does help me live an authentic life. And people don't think I'm fake. And so,
That's
and
key.
so
You don't want
I,
any fake ones around you.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, and like you can spot a fake or someone who's not authentic from a mile away. I mean, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's what's important, especially in our culture today, in the social media culture, that people are afraid of being themselves, and whoever you are, just be who you are.
Yeah. And that's key. That's key. Don't be a clout chaser. Just be yourself. And just
Yep.
let the people that need to be around you be around you.
Yep.
So, as we bring this episode to a close, Hubert, I know there's many that want to keep in contact with you or support you or buy their next home. Like, who, how can people stay in touch with you? How can people follow you? How can people support you?
Yeah, so I spend a lot of time on social media. That's one of my biggest. That's where I get a lot of my clients from. But
Okay.
so you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is hire.hubert, HIRE.Hubert. Or you can call me on my cell. I'm 678-680-8729. Holla at me. But
Okay.
yeah, I definitely I'm someone who responds and I get back to you. And I really do feel that home ownership or property ownership is the pathway to wealth, especially
Come
in
on.
minority communities.
Come on. That's really good. Before
Mhm.
we close, what can we expect next from you? If that's something that we can
Yeah.
ask, because you always popping up with some new stuff. And I mean, or you could just keep us in suspense. But I just
Yeah.
anything that's brewing or cooking up that you want us to stay on the lookout for.
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm kind of just coasting. I'm actually in prayer about where God is leading me next.
Okay.
I know I'll be in real estate in some capacity, wwhether, I don't know, maybe transition into like a trainer role or teacher
Okay.
role or a broker role. I'm not sure. I will say for at least the foreseeable future, the next 3-4 years, I'll be, an agent. But after that, yeah, that's to be determined.
That's where the ellipsis comes in, folks. The
Yep.
ellipsis to be continued. Just
Yep.
stay tuned. That's all
Continue.
you got to do. Well, Hubert, on behalf of the To Be Frank fam, we thank you again for being a guest on our show. This was an outstanding interview. I really, really enjoyed interviewing and really just switching spaces for a second, because it's so it's one thing to watch you on the screen and then watch you on social media, but just having this one-on-one, it's amazing. And I continue to commend you for the success that you've done thus far and that's yet to come. And like I mentioned, he's the next multimillionaire is occurring. So you heard it first, multimillionaire. So get ready for the book signings and the whole nines. It's coming. We're gonna make it do what it do. We're gonna support Hubert with all that he does. So frankly speaking, it had to be said, is your boy Corey J. We are out. See you to the next episode. Peace.